So to the dumper, the breakup isn't final because you can take it back anytime and you know it.
Being the person that initiates it means I have the power.
And it isn't until they lose the person they were with that they go like, oh my God, this was the love of my life and I really messed this up and I really need to fix it. There are breakups where it is final, where someone is at their limit and they can't get their point across still. So they're willing to walk away.
For me, I didn't understand just how attached I was to you either until I felt the potential reality of losing you.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of our podcast where we'll be talking about why breakups are almost never final. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Karolina.
I'm Gabriel.
And we broke up 3 times almost 13 years ago. So we're a great example of why breakups
are almost never final.
Yeah, are not necessarily the end of a relationship.
Yeah.
In all of our breakups, it was you, Gabriel, who you were breaking up with me. So to me, it always felt like this is it. This is the end. But it didn't feel that way to you.
It did not.
It did not.
Should I tell you why or keep that a secret?
I know why.
Yes, you know.
But how did it feel when you were breaking up with me? How did it feel?
For me, it did not feel particularly grave or final.
Because I was devastated.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the key difference between the person breaking up, the dumper, and the person being broken up with, the dumpy. That for the dumper, it's kind of like, I guess this isn't working, or I'm not happy anymore. I don't feel the same way about you. This, we're not good for each other. Some reason. Followed by, it's very nonchalant, I think.
So that's how you felt, like, I guess this isn't working.
Mixed with the reasons why, right? That I was unhappy about. It's not just I don't care, whatever. It's my own unhappiness, my needs not being met of whatever kind, and therefore, right? But being the person that initiates it means I have the power. And the person being broken up with,
you have the power to what?
To reverse it. I mean, we'll get to that later, I think, how that works. But the power of the person deciding to break up, and by extension, further down the line, also reverse it.
So to the dumper, the breakup isn't final because you can take it back anytime and you know it. And you know that the person you're breaking up with would be happy to have you back.
Yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, for me, for the person being abandoned, it's not at all like that, because I don't have any power. I just lost. I didn't have any power. I lost all power and control. So I was devastated and felt abandoned and felt like you didn't care anymore.
So the total opposite of my experience, basically.
Yeah. So why is that it's so often that a dumper would, or the person breaking up, decides to break up, but at the same time, at the back of your head, it's like, not 100%.
I think it's very layered. I think there can be a lot of reasons to it. One is just basically that they are unhappy in some way, shape, or form, and they just genuinely have reached a limit of some kind. But the other is a means of trying to initiate change in their partner, or now ex-partner. Like, this is too much for me. It's an ultimatum of sorts.
So it's like, I can't do it unless you change.
Yeah, or I'm not willing to continue unless you
change something. Yeah.
Or I have tried so many times to initiate the change I want, so that my needs can be met, but it has not worked, and therefore this is now my final decision. but in that finality even, it can still be, but maybe if you do change, if I see this. Yes.
Yeah. So if we were to count all the conversations like this in our relationship, right, where like, I can't do this anymore, I'm upset about XYZ, that would be like, I don't know, once every month.
No. I think especially at the beginning,
once every couple of months.
It was a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, like we count 3 major breakups.
Yeah.
But in between, I think there were a lot of
breakup
fights we had, breakup conversations.
Where I would also be like, this isn't working for me.
Yeah. And it can also be like just implied, right? This isn't working for me anymore. Or
stop snoring.
Snoring can be a real issue. I mean, couples sleep in separate rooms because it's a good thing you're a cute snorer. when she snores, on the rare occasion. Unlike me, who never snores.
You growl, you don't snore.
I know. So we had these like mini breakups in between as well.
So not every breakup is a breakup. Or there are different levels to breakups.
Yes.
You can have a fight that ends up where you end up breaking up, but it's more about the fight, and you don't actually mean to break up. You just, break up is a last resort to get your point across, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then there are breakups where it is final, where someone is at their limit and they can't get their point across still.
Yeah.
So they're willing to walk away.
Yeah.
And there are also breakups without a fight, where one person can say, we want different things, or I want something else, or I want to explore. I do get that a lot from our coaching clients, where it's a mix of things not working in the relationship, but also one of the partners being like, well, I've been in a relationship for the past 10 years or 12 years or 15 years, and I kind of miss my freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the case with us too, because that was your reason for breaking up. Like, you wanted to explore what else is out there, right? You didn't want to commit to, like, you kept on telling me I wanted to start a family and stuff, and you weren't the right guy for me.
Yeah.
I kept on telling you I'm not ready to start a family, but you wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
We're still not ready to start a family.
But I made the breakup decision for you. That happened.
Yeah. So there are the breakups that are like a fight, where it is about making a point that you can easily fix. But there are also breakups where one person is genuinely wanting to try something else.
Yeah, or wants a more profound life change of some kind. That they've been doing this for a while. It's a routine now. I mean, I guess a good way of distinguishing it is, right, you have short-term relationships, let's say 1 to 3 months, where the breakups are for more mundane reasons, right? Nothing's quite so deep. Then you have 6 months, a year, and where it can be more, okay, I've gotten to know you on a deeper level. We have different values. Things don't quite align. My needs are, I don't see a future where my needs can be met. And then I think if you're talking about really long-term relationships where it's like 3-10 years plus, the problems run deeper, right? And it can be very layered.
A lot of problems.
Yeah, which makes it a whole lot harder to resolve as well sometimes. But what can also help, I think, is to think of breakups along a spectrum, right? That you have like softer breakups and then really hard final breakups. Like, I am not willing, there's just no wiggle room. There's nothing you can do or say anymore that will change my mind. And I think with us, it was a mix of both. Like the softer breakups were in between. And couples can often experience that, right? When they're in the heat of the moment, when they can't resolve something, they're fighting. And then it kind of slips out almost like, well, maybe we're just not good for each other. And the person says, fine. And they didn't expect that. It was kind of a bluff. It was hoping they would step up and come and meet their needs.
Yeah.
So it can also happen unexpectedly. It's not always a clear decision either.
Yeah. How was it with us? Did it slip out, or was it?
I think it was both.
It was both.
I think sometimes I was definitely just trying to initiate some change on your side, some action, but I was also just,
the grass was greener or something.
Well, I think there's a fear of missing out.
Yeah.
At that point, we were younger too. So I think unmet needs and
the first time you also got scared because I invited you to go to a wedding with me to meet my whole family.
Yeah.
And he broke up with me 2 days before that wedding. And he thought he's going to get out of that.
But I met your whole family.
Yeah, because
you mean your extended family?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
because, So he thought, he'll break up and we'll get shipped back off to wherever and won't have to participate in the wedding. And I was like, we can break up. I don't care. But you're coming to the wedding. Yeah. So that actually...
Had fun at that wedding.
Yeah. So... it bridged the gap and we didn't end up breaking up.
Yeah.
So it was one of these soft breakups.
Yeah.
And we ended up still talking and it wasn't until a month later that we did the final breakup. Yeah. That still wasn't final.
So they can be a very slippery thing.
Yeah.
Right? Where the boundary isn't so clear even. Like, is this a breakup? Is it a soft break, a semi breakup?
Yeah.
Like where are we?
I guess the point here is that relationships are not strict and people are not so strict. They can say things, but they don't do it. Much like I can say, I'll clean the kitchen and I don't. The same way you can say, this is it. It's not working, but we are creatures of habit and we get attached. So it's hard to actually let go.
Yeah.
And then you have one side that's on the receiving end of the breakup who never wanted it to begin with. So of course they'll want to reverse it. And then you have the dumper side who might want it for different reasons, but still has this thought at the back of their mind, well, if I change my mind, if push comes to shove, I can always reverse it. So we have one side who doesn't want it and the other side who's like on the fence or wants to have a plan B, I guess, or something.
C, D,
yeah. And that is why most breakups are not final. But then you also have these harder breakups where someone really did reach their limit and they do actually want to move on, where there's been a lot of damage or they're fed up with how things are and they want to end it. They want to not experience the same pain again. But even then, it's hard to actually move on, right?
Yeah. I think this is a good segue into attachment, actually, because the reason, like, why is it so hard, right?
Yeah.
Because attachment runs so much deeper than people, I think, want to believe and even know themselves to be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, when you are the one making the breakup decision, it's a whole lot easier to believe that you don't care so much, that you're not so attached, because you understand, if I want to reverse this, chances are they would not say no. But if you are the one on the receiving end, then the feeling that connection being severed is a lot more real and intense and can induce a lot of anxiety and everything, of course. But I think being oblivious to just how attached we are on both sides, but maybe more on the person breaking up, plays a huge factor on why it becomes so chaotic and complicated too. Because for me, I didn't understand just how attached I was to you either until I felt the potential reality of losing you, right? Where it was out of my control.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's sometimes what it really takes for somebody to understand?
I would say it's always what it takes. It's almost always what it takes. Because when it is this like angry breakup, it's, for example, right, I have the clients who had a drinking problem, and their partners or wives or husbands often did have to reach their limit and really kick them out and be like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And only then do they actually look at themselves and realize, okay, I do have a drinking problem. I need to fix it. So in that sense, the partner with the problem didn't have a reality check on what is the most important thing in their life. They might have lived in a reality where it was alcohol or their job or golf or something else. And it isn't until they lose the person they were with that they go like, oh my God, this was the love of my life, and I really messed this up and I really need to fix it. Yeah.
It's not until people reach rock bottom often. Or like an ultimatum of some kind.
Yeah. So with the breakups that are more with avoidance, where it is sort of like, oh, the grass might be greener, or I'm afraid of missing out, where it's not so much about the actual problems in the relationship, but it's kind of about, tra-la-la, I'm just gonna...
I want my freedom or something.
I want to keep my options open.
Yeah.
It is what it takes. Like, you do have to say, as the person who continuously gets abandoned, who continuously gets dumped, you have to say, enough's enough. This isn't working for me. And I'm not going to tolerate it because it's just hurtful. And it's not what I want in my life. For the avoidant to actually realize, oh my God, I did care.
Yes.
Right? And that's what it was for you too.
And it's kind of sad that it really takes that to understand, it's very sad. I'm attached. So people are really out of touch. I most certainly was with how I felt towards you. I mean, it's all well and good to say the words like, I love you, I care about you, and you live your little life. But it's not until things get
you
real,
lose someone,
until
you realize their value,
or you're about to lose them,
or you're close to losing them.
That your priorities can, you're saying earlier, can really shift, and you understand, like, damn, like, if I lose this person, I get it's a real crack in your life that can be extremely difficult to heal and fix.
It's devastating.
Because human connection just runs really deep. Even with a lot of clients I've worked with can be locked in toxic relationships. And I'm telling them, gently as I can, like, I think this might be an abusive relationship, or this is really doing you too much harm. You should maybe try take a step back and look out for yourself first over the relationship. And even if they intellectually understand that, it can be so extraordinarily difficult for them to say, go beyond just saying, yes, that's true, and set boundaries, because they are more terrified of losing this person and the potential consequences thereof over incurring all this damage that's being done to them over and over. They would rather tolerate that indefinitely over potentially lose this person because of deeper underlying reasons. But it really holds human relationships hold this invisible grip.
Everybody gets attached.
Yes.
Even players get attached.
Yes. Players definitely also get. They may play it off as not.
Yes.
But they also get attached. Yes.
But so why is that? Why is attachment such a underlying force that just holds people together?
We're social animals, right? Our survival, especially when our hunter-gatherer days very much depended on a clan, like surviving out alone was almost impossible. I think we're just wired this way biologically.
Yeah.
Some animals are solo, right? But even the concept of a lone wolf, as we now know, has been debunked. But it's our nature, and I think there's a certain beauty in that, you know, in embracing it and saying, I'm attached to the person in my life, to the people in my life, and
it's
need
like
them.
really hard to stop caring about someone.
Yes.
Even when they're horrible to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really hard to say a breakup is totally final. Because it is often the case that there's a really heated moment where it feels like this is definitely the end, there's no way back, and then some time passes, the dust settles, and they hear from their ex again. Or when they reach out,
you were like,
their tone is different.
You'd be like, this is it, we want different things. I can't give you what you need.
And this was like a year into our relationship. So it's not
and then a week later you'd send me like sending you hugs.
Mixed message.
It made me so happy.
I'm glad I could repair my damage to some extent.
But so in summary, we are a lot more attached than we're led to believe, or than what everybody thinks. Because everybody thinks they're not attached. Avoidants think they're not attached, right? Anxious people think they're going to be abandoned all the time.
Yes.
But it's not true.
It is not so simple.
Avoidants are attached. And anxious people don't get abandoned. Avoidants get abandoned.
Often, it is actually the opposite.
That's when the final breakup often happens. It's when you push someone too hard. Where you push someone away too hard. Too many times. Too many rejection.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you happen to be in a relationship or you've broken up, understand that there very much is a spectrum in terms of how soft the breakup was, how hard, how long your relationship was. So the longer, the more attached the person generally is.
The harder to walk away.
Yes. And that how you approach the person, the relationship in those moments to try and fix things is really, really important. You cannot keep trying the same thing over and over again. That will mess up your chances further. But have some faith, some understanding that these connections run really deep and it's harder for them to let go than they might be showing themselves.
That they care more than they think.
Yes.
And a whole breakup often is either trying to get a point across or just a bluff. Yeah. With our breakups, I used to tell myself, if it's meant to be, it will work out. And it did. I didn't know there was this invisible force that connected us and connects all people. If you build this deeper emotional bond with someone, it's like you're glued together in a sense.
Yeah. Even if it's an enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's a love-hate relationship. Yeah. So you don't have to make it happen. You don't have to necessarily fix it. In our breakups, I mostly took a step back. And it mostly took me rejecting you in some way for you to come back around.
Turning the tables.
Yes, turning the tables, yeah. But in all our other breakup conversations that never escalated to a breakup, which there were plenty full of, it would be me listening or you listening.
Yeah.
And understanding what the problem is.
Yeah. And I would say on that note, we close our podcast for today. And if you are new here and are watching on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more of our content. And if you're listening, you can follow this podcast on whatever platform you're on. And we hope to see you next time.
Yeah, thank you and see you soon.